It's me, Allie from Fire and Water Astrology. Today we have a Q&A for y'all about astrological placements and the spiritual journey, especially on her channel, because we did a Q&A for her on her channel, different questions, all of that. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and also check out the social media links, and I will link her channel down below. And definitely check out the way that I'm doing readings right now is through email and through Zoom. And I'm also just taking questions about your chart if you have any questions. And I will leave the link, like my email. You just email me, we'll set up a time, we'll set up a date, and we'll make it all work. And we hope that you guys enjoy this video. It's just something fun. It's something to get a different perspective on. And yeah, there is no right or wrong, and definitely check out her channel because we have another Q&A on there, just different questions. And yes, so we hope you guys enjoy and see you soon. Bye. Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel, Fire and Water Astrology. Today I'm here with my friend Isabel, aka Mystic Star on YouTube.
Hi.
She posts astrology videos as well, and they get very in-depth, so I definitely recommend checking out her channel. We're also doing a Q&A for her channel, and I'll leave the link for her channel down in the description bar, so you guys can watch that if you want to watch it. They're going to be different questions. Sorry, didn't mean to hit you. Okay, so today is a Q&A. I told you guys on my last video that if you left a comment and stuff, along with your social media, etc., that I will be shouting you out and all of that. But this is Q&A part 1. It's already been planned way ahead. So that's going to be Q&A part 2. Okay? All right. So the first question is, what is a positive or negative aspect just a negative aspect or a positive aspect in someone's chart? Like when you look at it and you see it in their chart, you're like, oh, we're getting along. Or if you see it, you're like, Not talking about synastry.
Okay, not talking about synastry. We're talking about like our personal.
Yeah, like if you see someone's natal chart and like you're kind of like, okay, that's a red flag.
Ooh.
It's kind of controversial.
When they have Mercury square Mars, so that's like a communication issue. Hard aspects to their Mars. Just a lot of Mars and maybe a lot of Saturn, I would say. That could be like a big problem.
Positive or negative? That's like a negative problem.
Yeah, that's a negative problem. Mars, because it'll just show like they're very combative, very volatile in negative aspect. And with the Saturn, they'll just be very cold, very mean, harsh. So that could be an issue, especially when it comes to like communication and things of that nature. So those.
And what's a positive thing when you see in someone's chart? That you like you like seeing it in someone's chart, in a friend or whatever.
I love seeing like say like sun conjunct ascendant, sun conjunct sun conjunct moon. I love Sag. I love it when we have like Sag, because I just love Sag energy. A lot of the sun, because it brings vitality to the interaction. It brings liveliness. Jupiter is good too in the mix. It shows like that person will help like expand you, or they have like just a very open, expansive energy.
Okay.
So I like those.
I would say, well, she went more into detail aspects, so it's gonna be controversial, but it's just based on like experience and all of that. And astrology is a pseudoscience. It's open to interpretation.
Disclaimer.
I always have to say that. It's a pseudoscience. It's open to interpretation based on your experience, based on your personal planets. You're going to perceive things differently after you learn the basics. So, yeah, okay. So, I'll keep it simple. A positive would be a Sag rising I really like Sagittarius risings. I like Scorpio risings. And I do like Taurus, like, energy in the chart. Like, a little bit of Taurus energy in their chart.
Even in the South Node?
Even in the South Node.
I have Taurus South Node.
I'm a Taurus sun. But, something... well, let me make it more particular. Like, Taurus ascendant. Taurus moon is kind of like, okay, like, I grew up a lot around Taurus moons. No, to Taurus Mercury. That there's just two, and I'm Mercury in Gemini, so I'm very like, yeah, I like the Venus and I like the Mars, especially in Taurus. That's a nice aspect in someone because they're very grounded, and if it's like in a relationship wise, they like are very sensual and very like kind, unless they are just a shitty person overall. But, okay, negative, something I do not like to see in someone's chart, something that kind of makes me a little hesitant to be their friend or get close to them, is definitely a Scorpio Mars. A Scorpio Mars.
I can't agree.
Yeah.
I admire their ambition and their determination. I'll give them that, but they are pretty sly. You gotta be careful with them.
No, it's like, for me, I think like the Scorpio Mars is like, they're just so see-through on how they want to like get revenge, and they want to do like all of this like meticulous things to like get revenge, and it's just like not necessary. But
is it your 8th house peeping game on them? Because 8th house people, they have like strong intuition.
Yeah, I have a lot of things.
I'm Mercury in the 8th, so yeah, I get it.
And my third house is Scorpio.
You could peep Scorpio energy.
Yeah, my third house is Scorpio, so like the way I kind of, that area of my house is kind of perspective like that. That doesn't mean all Scorpios Mars are negative. It's just like majority of the ones that I've come across are very, very see-through on like their intentions, and you can tell that if they don't like you, if they do like you, if they're out to get you, if it's very, with Scorpio energy, for me, I feel like it's very obvious to read. For some it's not, but Scorpio has a code. I'll talk about that in another video. The next question is by Ultra Vivans. What is your favorite astrology book, if you have any? Okay. You can start.
So, for me, when I got into astrology, I actually didn't read any books. I just watched a lot of videos. I just read things on the internet, like just little brief things. And then a lot of my expertise in astrology just came from just paying attention to transits, really studying my chart, and kind of just studying my energy, doing a lot of meditation with myself, and kind of just seeing how the energy interacts, like in real life, be it my energy bouncing off of another and vice versa. That's really how you're gonna really intuitively pick up on different astrological placements and transits and things. So, I have read some books, but it's more so intuitive for me. Like, I just start getting like the downloads, and it just starts making sense.
Once you learn the basics, it's up to kind of you and like your observations. Like, for me, it's the same way. Like, I didn't like read an astrology. That's not how I came across astrology. I came across it through a YouTuber. I forgot her name. Oh, she's Lulu, I think.
I love her, man.
She hasn't posted in a long time.
Oh, that is my girl. Shout out to She's Lulu.
I know, and I wish she would post stuff. She's so funny.
She has the perfect big 3. Scorpio sun. She has an Aries moon, and then she has a Sag rising.
Yeah, and she says whatever she wants.
Whatever.
But when I first came across astrology, it was honestly through her, because she brought it up in a video, and I was like, I'm curious. And so then I became obsessed, like immediately, like obsessed. I was like indulged, like completely, did a lot of research online, YouTube, whatever it was. I have read like some, like The Elements of Our Soul, I believe it's called. I've read a lot on like the aura. I have an aura book in my like shelf. I've read a lot on like the quantum physics and like our energetic field per se, but astrological wise, like once I understood the basics and I analyzed myself extremely deeply, like I was obsessed. I analyzed everyone else around me, and I would think to myself, okay, like what aspect is making them do this? Like, paid a lot of attention to synastry, which made me go a little cuckoo for a bit. And then it just became like very intuitive nature, like, because I learned it at a young age, and I think because my brain was still developing, it was just absorbing things. And I felt like when I was posting younger, I would receive like universal downloads when I would like speak about certain aspects or placements, because I would take notes, just some basic notes, but like they're just bullet point notes. They're not like the entire video. So not necessarily any books, but if you learn through books, you're just go for it. There is like this one that's pink, and I forgot what it's called. It's like a pink hard copy book. And that one's like good to like kind of dip your toes in. But it's all free online. And it's even better than the books.
Right.
So.
And I feel like that's something, with astrology, it really takes you kind of being like obsessed with it to really like get to the depths of it, because it's like a rabbit hole. Like once you start reading one thing, it's like another thing, and then like it just keeps going. I know for me, like when I awakened, like I think I was watching a video too, but I forgot who, and they were talking about like a birth chart. I'm like, what's that? And then it's like I just got really curious, and I just started looking things up, and I'm like, I'm like, this is like deep astrology, because I've always been into like horoscopes and things like that. And then when I discovered like the astrological chart and things, I'm like, I didn't know like astrology had all of this. Like that shit is cool.
Yeah. And it's something that like you really have to like delve deep into to understand, because like I've met a lot of people that are like, oh, that's not real. Oh, that's not. It's like if you haven't studied it to the extent that I have, like you have no say in saying whether it's real or not.
Exactly.
Like think about it, like crystals, planets, we have aspects, we have all of this stuff. Like, is it really there for no reason?
And then you guys' favorite civilization, Egypt, they were reading the stars. That's why they're the most advanced civilization. So that's how they coordinated everything as far as like crops growing, when to like seasons. When to crown like kings and queens. Like they used astrology. How are you gonna go?
And there's like 12 apostles. Yeah. There's 12 months. There's like a lot of synchronicities with like 12, and it's even in the Bible. If you read, like, I believe it's the book of Thomas that's been removed, or the book of, I believe it's Thomas. Oh my God, it's basically like what New Age is
and it's not new.
Spirituality is trying to teach it. Yeah, but don't give that video away. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
We're gonna get into that.
Oh my God. Okay, so at step_TSH, do you know about Myers-Briggs personality type indicator? Now, this is our second time filming it, so we're not gonna get too deep into this. But he basically, or she, I don't know, but it's at STEP_TSH. And they commented, that's their YouTube channel. And they said, do you know about MBTI, aka Myers-Briggs personality type indicator? I've taken it before, and I got the same result when she was over my house, and we just decided to do it again. I got campaigner. I got campaigner the last time I did it, and campaigner this time around. I'm 100% a campaigner. I definitely recommend taking this quiz, because it's pretty accurate. And she got commander.
I'm a commander.
Yeah. So I'm an ENFP/T. And that's just like 66% extroverted, 34% introverted. Then we have 88% intuitive, 12% observant, which I feel like I'm a little bit more observant, but whatever. And then 64% feeling versus 36% thinking, which is kind of true because, as I told her, like, I think about what I feel, and usually, like, my thoughts generate feelings, and then those feelings generate thoughts. So it's kind of like, oh, like, do I want to film this YouTube video? Am I in the mood to film this, like, video? So then I'm, like, kind of thinking about, like, how I feel about my thoughts. Okay, and then it says 56% prospectivating, and that's basically improvising and adapting versus 44% judging, which is pretty accurate. Yeah, I adapt to things, like, if I have to. And 54% turbulent, so sensitive to stress, and I feel a need of urgency, and I tend to be success driven, eager to improve, very success driven. And then 46% assertive. I'm pretty assertive. And hers is pretty accurate.
I don't have my percentages. I don't have my percentages.
The commander type is basically like
assertive, very dominant. We like things our way. You know, we know what we want. We could be like bossy. So, you know, kind of like that. I mean, I will say with me being a commander, I would say I'm more evolved than what they made it seem.
Yeah.
I'm still open to listening to others, giving people space to kind of share their thoughts and things. Even though I still have my convictions and things, but I still respect other people's points of view. Yeah.
And, like, something we talked about the first time we filmed this was a good comparison versus campaigners versus commanders. Is like, I'm a campaigner, she's a commander. So if we're, like, in a group setting, right, or we're working on a group project, a campaigner like me, like, I will take the lead and I will take the initiative and I will become the leader and assert myself as the leader if I feel like I have to or if no one's stepping up. But if someone comes in like a commander and is like, I am the leader.
Yeah, we assume the position.
Yeah, so, I am the leader. Then I have no problem taking a step back. But I don't like people that take the lead and they're just very then. Right. Because, like, that's not how I lead. I like to, like, make, like, people feel, like, included. Even if their idea is stupid. I'll, like, I'll be like, yeah, but why don't we put this twist on it? Like, you know?
Me being a commander, if somebody says something that I think is kind of stupid, I'm going to just be like, okay, but I'm going to do it this way. You know, so me being a commander, I've always found myself getting in trouble because I'm always challenging the authority because it's like commanders don't like to be told what to do. So we're our own boss.
Okay. So the fourth question is, what placement do you wish you had and why? Okay, so mine is definitely Pluto in the first house, mainly because I feel like with Pluto in the first house and my experience with people that have Pluto in the first house, especially like this one guy I was seeing, like, people, like, give their power to them. Like, it's weird. And it's not even as if, like, they deserve it. But usually you'll find them in positions of power or authority or something like that. Even when they don't necessarily deserve it, there's something very, very enticing about it because it's in the first house. And it just, like, allures you. And it kind of, like, makes you want to, like, be submissive to them. Which I like in, like, a romantic aspect. But, like, if, let's say, like, it wasn't someone I was attracted to and they were trying to be, like, really controlling or trying to get me to be submissive, I wouldn't necessarily like that so much. But I would like to have that placement because I feel like I have met so many people with Pluto in the first house and it's
so,
like,
magnetic.
They're magnetic. Jeez. Yeah, and it's like, they don't have to do half the work that I have to do to get the reputation. Like, I have to cross that line of, like, kind of being a bitch, you know, to kind of, like, get that power, you know?
Right. It's something that I noticed with, like, Pluto in the first house, it goes either, like, one or two ways. Either, like, they're very, like, magnetic and seducing, or it's, like, they still get that control through, people just feel intimidated. So it's just like, okay, you can have it your way. Yeah. So I like that about them, yeah.
But they don't realize, I don't think they realize
They
people feel intimidated by them, or that they have this kind of, like, darker, seductive aura. What placement do you wish you had and
why? So I wish I just had, like, a fire Mars. Something that I find with my Mars being, like, in water, so it just makes me kind of lazy, at least in my earlier years. I've gotten a hold of it, but it's like it kind of slows me down a little bit, and I feel like having a fire Mars, that would have helped me be more farther along with certain things, or taking more risks, taking more chances, as opposed to the Mars I have. Like, it kind of it makes me very emotional, or like my emotions get in the way, or like fear, or like holding on to the past and things of that nature. So I think a fire Mars would have helped me a lot. So
yeah,
I like
it makes
fire
it kind of
Mars.
hard, like, also for you to kind of, like, I notice with, like, water Mars, people, they don't like to be, like, necessarily direct sometimes about with what they're feeling, because they tend to compromise, like, other people's feelings for their own, you know? But growing up with a fire Mars and having a fire Mars, I was very active as a kid. I was very, like, leader type. I played many sports, and then I found dancing, and that was kind of like my niche for a while. But because my Mars is in Sagittarius, I kind of, like, jumped around a lot, and it's sorry, it's just gonna have to stay that way. Yeah, I feel like with mine being in Sagittarius, and especially in the house it's very, like, now that I'm older, it's more about, and even when I was younger, like, educationally, like, I wouldn't really, like, say I was the best. It has to be something I'm passionate about, and it has to be, like, something that, like, excites me for me to, like, wanna, like, do it, you know? So, yeah, and I challenged a lot of authority growing up. And I wish I could take some of that back, because looking back on it, it kind of, like, looked kind of, like, mean or like a bitch, because I grew up in, like, a private Catholic, like, school. So, like, especially with religion teachers and all of that, especially once I learned astrology and all that, I was always, like, questioning them. Okay, so what placement do you wish you didn't have?
Wish I didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a bittersweet placement for me now, but my Saturn in the first. I've learned the beauty of it. And that's something that I wanted to mention earlier about, I forgot what question it was, but I was going to say, about, like, kind of like how we got into, like, astrology and things of that nature. You were kind of briefly saying, like, when you read certain things, like, you kind of interpret it different.
Mm-hmm.
When I figured out that I had Saturn in the first house, I read, like, so many, like, terrible things. And, as I've gotten to work with it and understand it, I've seen the beauty in it. As far as, like, Saturn, it protects me in a good way. It teaches you boundaries. It teaches you...
But how does that work with the Cancer Mars? Does it take, like, courage to set those boundaries?
It does, but I feel like since I'm really watery, I do see it as a placement as a good thing. Because when you have a lot of, like, water, you're very, like, you're like a sponge, and you take on a lot. So I feel like that Saturn in the first house, it kind of helped put that barrier around me to kind of, like, protect me and not allow others to get too close to me, or at least specific people, like narcissists and things of that nature. So I've seen the benefits of it, but as far as, like, me wishing I didn't have it, yeah, because it put me through a lot, like with the resting bitch face, or people thinking I'm mean, or kind of just I guess it kind of stunted my growth in a way. I haven't what am I trying to say? It's not until now, like, I'm feeling, like, okay within myself now that I'm, like, closer to 30 now.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to, like, my earlier years, I felt like my childhood was taken away from me in the sense like I had to grow up really fast. I couldn't enjoy anything. Everything was so serious and heavy. And I feel like as I've gotten older, I've gotten my freedom. I've gotten my inner child back and I'm living my best life. Like, it's great. So it's a bittersweet thing, like a bittersweet placement, but I would say my Saturn the first.
Yeah. A placement that I don't like, it's definitely Uranus in the 6th house, because it just gets in the way of, like, things that are important. Like, if I have important things to do that day, like, the universe is sending like these, like, weird, like, trenches in there, you know?
Like, you just skirt.
And it's really annoying. Like, the first time that, like, she was supposed to come over and film, I woke up, like, late, kind of. But I still had the time to, like, get everything done. But I had, like, a flat tire. My brother just got home from college, and I was like, okay, I'll just use his car. Surprisingly, he got a job out of nowhere. So the car wasn't here. So it's like I had to call AAA. And usually AAA takes, like, an hour or so to get to the house or get to wherever I'm at. But, like, this time it only took, like, 8 minutes. So it's like what I expect isn't usually what happens. And I would say a bittersweet placement, an aspect that I love but I hate, and I think it's also the reason I became, like, an astrologer at a young age, which is why I like it. It's all, like, the moon Chiron aspects. I have, like, Chiron aspecting a lot, especially to my moon. I have it in, like, a house I don't want to have it in. It's still transiting my 8th house. And that, like, that moon Chiron thing, like, I'm, like, I don't know. It's very heavy and very dense, and it's, like, I feel like I can give advice and I can help people and I can do this and that, but it's, like, almost like, you know, Chiron's the wounded healer. So it's, like, I can help you and I can give you advice and I can lead you into a certain direction and I can do readings and all that. But when it comes to me, I just feel, like, kind of lost sometimes. But I feel like that forced me to, like, mature at a young age to face, like, a lot of, like, wounds.
I have a question. So with the Uranus in the 6th house, how does that affect you, like, health-wise, work-wise?
Okay, I'll get, like, randomly sick.
So
I'll get randomly sick, and then, like, I'm magically cured. I have, like, random headaches for no reason.
Right.
Things like that, and, like, health stuff that will be, like, really random and then go away.
At random
moments, at random times, like, you know, and then it, like, goes away really fast. And I've noticed that, like, holistic healing is usually, like, what fixes me. Like, not, yeah, like, sure, antibiotics. I always, like, get, like, tonsillitis, like, recurring tonsillitis, like, every year or so. Knock on freaking wood, I don't get it this year. But, yeah, the antibiotics help, but also, like, what speeds up the healing process is, like, playing a certain Hertz music for my throat chakra, you know, drinking certain teas, you know, putting the crystals where, like, I feel like I need to, meditating, using mantras, yada, 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 yada.
What about work? Like, because I know, like, the 6th house is your work.
Well, I would say
you, like, I'm not... job to job to job?
No. I've been working since I was young, since I was, like, 15. I've been working for my father in his office because it's a family-owned business and it's, like, run and it's all of that. So I've kind of been in and out of there as I've been in school. I did work at this, like, pizza place, but then the coworkers were just, like, weird and all that. And I was just like, yeah, like, this place is gross. Like, the kids were just gross. It was like, I'm not even going to say what restaurant it is, but it's like a pizza place. Not like a main chain, but...
you know what other placement? Because I have a 6th house, too. I have Mars in the 6th house, and I always feel like people are trying to come for me, bro. Like, yo, like, why are you guys trying to come for my neck? Like, leave me alone.
I feel that.
I hate that. And it causes issues at work to where I'm always transitioning out of jobs. I know that sounds bad, but that's literally because Mars does bring that, like, transformation, but it does bring up that conflict. I'm like, yo, like, I'm just trying to make my money and go, but it's like, even when I'm trying not to be in drama, it's like, for some reason, I'm in the middle. How the fuck does that work?
I feel like I attract a lot of people that don't like me either. Like, for no reason.
You're like the odd one out.
Yeah, I always have been growing up, and I've always been that way. But what was I gonna say? I don't remember. But yeah, Uranus in the 6th house with jobs. Definitely, like, I'm still in school and I'm, like, achieving higher education to avoid life for a little bit longer. And it kind of, like, changed my path a lot because I started off as psychology and I was like, okay, I'm going to do astrology and, like, psychology, and I'm going to make this work, and I'm going to be a psychiatrist, and I'm going to be, like, the best. And then I really wanted to be a detective, and I was like, oh my god, I can use astrology in a way to, like, da-da-da-da-da. And then ever since I was little, I wanted to be a doctor because I, like, you know, looked up to my dad and all of that. But then I was like, I'm pre-med right now. And I came on top of my chemistry class.
I like how you're half traditional school and half, like, kind of, like, alternative. I'm just full on alternative. Like, I've never been a school person because I just feel like I never, like, it never sticks with me. Like, the knowledge, like, in traditional school, it never sticks with me. I feel like when people say, like, are you in school? I'll be like, yeah, the school of life. That's it. We're in the university.
Yeah. And so, like, I switch up my major, like, what I'm gonna do. I'm going into law. I finally decided what I'm gonna do. So, law. And I also, like, I'm starting a website now. I do readings. I've always done readings since I was young. So it's kind of like this mixture of, like, traditional, like, secretarial or billing work, and then this, like, mixture of metaphysical work. And, you know, and this time around on my website, I'm going to be having products and things that I've created from my own. So it's going to be, like, really cool, and those profits are going to be able to go towards a percentage of the profits are going to the foundation I'm choosing is Save Our Girls, which are is the foundation that basically helps in rescuing
distressed women.
No, sexual trafficking victims.
Okay.
Yeah, like underage sex trafficking victims, and they go out and they find them. So my website, it's gonna have, like, my art. I'll be able to like paint your natal chart or your synastry chart. Once that's up and running, that's how people are gonna book readings. I'm also gonna have a store, and, like, everything I want, like, a percentage to go to that, because that's a very, very important matter to me. Yeah. So I guess Uranus in the 6th house kind of, like, plays out, like, every day is different. Can't have schedules. They don't work. I don't look back at them. And I have kind of, like, I always come up with something. Like, if this doesn't work, I'll do this. I'm falling out of love with this, I'm going to do this. I'm very, like, career-orientated, driven. I've been in the stock market since I was 18. Like, I just have, like, my finger in, like, everything. That kind of came out wrong, but whatever. Okay. So I guess it's a blessing and a curse, but Moon and Chiron aspects, Moon Pluto aspects for me, those were really hard to navigate in my spiritual awakening. Very hard. Okay, and the last question is, what chart type do you think is the most accurate? Like Western, Tropical, Eastern, Sidereal, the Placidius, Vedic, Draconic. What do you believe is the best?
I just stick to Western. I've looked into the other ones briefly, more so like the sidereal one.
Sidereal. Sidereal? I don't know how to say it.
Child. That one.
Child.
That one. I get it to some degree, but I guess maybe I'm just so stuck on my Western chart. But I just feel like there's truth to all of them. Again, astrology is that thing where you could look at the energy in multiple different ways. So I don't have an issue with any of them. I personally just like to use Western, and I feel like that works for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm always open to learning like the different house systems and things of that nature.
I do believe in like sidereal or like Vedic astrology, the one that's like, this is like where your placements were when you were actually born, versus like the Western tropical chart, which is like based on like the equinoxes and all of that. And because I learned Western first, it was very hard for me to kind of like break out of that, especially because I'm Indian, like half Indian. Like that was like really hard because I did want to like connect with that, which is why I believe I kind of have like a gift in like sending like astrological messages in my videos, is because I think I have like an ancestor, you know. But like I have taken all of them into consideration. I read and I take what I please and all of this stuff. But usually, traditionally, I'll go for the Placidius default, and then I will also apply daylight savings times. I kept saying in the other video that we filmed, I kept saying like my time zone. No, it's daylight savings time.
I use Placidius for everything. To just look at charts, look at transits. At some point I was using whole sign for transits, but I just felt like it just kind of made more sense with the Placidius for some reason.
But there's like different calendars. There's like the Gregorian calendar, there's the Mayan calendar, there's all these calendars that that other countries don't go by. You know, they don't go by like our 12-month calendar. So I ended up in a rabbit hole of that one. I also like looked at my chart for what's it called? Like when I was conceived, awkward conversation with my mom, and she chose to make it even awkward. I was like, Mom, when was I like conceived? Because and this woman just kept, oh my God. She just kept fucking with my head. I was like, that's enough! But I like to look at everything. I like to read everything. The thing with the sidereal charts or Vedic astrology, or, you know, just charts that are based on where the planets exactly were. Okay. I relate a lot to them, but when I look up someone else's chart, like my brother's chart, I'm like, no way is he like all triple Leo. Like it just doesn't make it make sense. Like
right.
It just doesn't like, so it makes sense for me, especially like with the Aquarius moon, but it's also that thing where it's like I have a Pisces moon in like an air borderline water house, and then it's like sidereal is like an air in a water borderline air house. So it's either way I rationalize my feelings and I think about my feelings and all of that. So I
would just say like kind of just go with what resonates.
Use Placidius default if you've learned Western and it's like hard for you to learn Vedic.
Like you could go switch back and forth.
But apply daylight savings time. And I definitely recommend looking up like your draconic chart. I believe that's like your soul's chart before you came into this life. And there's another kind of chart. So that's like the one that I recommend, Placidius default. Apply the time zones. You can do that on astrocharts.com. So yeah, that's all the questions that we have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and you guys can see the video and the Q&A that we made for Isabel's channel. I will put the link in the description, and they're going to be different questions. And remember that astrology is subject to interpretation because it is a pseudoscience. So try to find the astrologer that fits you. There's so many different interpretations, so many different perspectives, and she has a really, really good, like, we have different perspectives on things, and I definitely like respect her point of view. It's different than mine in some ways, and it's similar to mine in some ways, but we definitely have like key differences in the way that we kind of communicate astrology, or we think about like astrology. And I think that's kind of what makes us like work in a bit, because you have to have like some differences. Like if everyone was just agreeing, with like
where's the individuality?
Yeah.
You know?
So definitely check out her videos. She's great at what she does. She focuses a lot on aspects, a lot on transits, a lot on the more meticulous things.
Right.
So definitely check out her channel, guys.
For sure.
Mystic Star.
Thank you
You're
for having me.
The tapestry and the lights are going everywhere, but
right.
we decided not to let that bother us. Anyways, guys, have a good day. If you want to be featured in my next Q&A and you have like a business or something that you want promoted, make sure to leave that question and put like your social media or your business or your website or whatever it is. And in my next Q&A, that's just going to be with me, I will shout you out and I will do all of that stuff as a thank you. So I hope you guys have a good day and I'll see you guys soon. Bye. What the?
Hold up. Let it be a blue. Oh. Somebody else?
Yeah, I don't really pay attention to other astrologers out there that much. No, because I don't got time. I really don't got time. And like, whatever, I don't got time. I miss the days though when it was just like that small group, like Alyssa Sharp, the Modern Cosmic Astrology, the Gemini Moon guy. There was this other guy, bro, and I forgot his name. He was some black dude, and he would always smoke blunts in his videos.
Oh, Flight Boss, bitch. Shout out to Flight Boss.
And I swear to God, I watched this on Venus in the 8th house, right? And he's like smoking a blunt. He's like, Venus in the 8th house? She's sneaking in guys in the house. She's smoking a lot of weed. She's doing everything behind her, everything behind the parents' back. She's smoking a lot of weed, and I was like smoking a lot of weed at that time, and I would sneak in like friends, sneak in boys, like sneak in everything, and it was just, oh my God, he just kept it so real. Like, what was his name again?
Flight Boss.
Flight Boss. I gotta watch his videos. Yeah, I miss that era of like astrology YouTube when it was like just this like small little circle. We hope you have a good day and we'll see you very soon. Bye. Guys. Awkward moment where I can't find the stop button.